Hi everyone, delonewolf here. Welcome back to some EVE Online, and in today's video we are going to take a look at the EVE Updates website because of course the winter expansion has been announced, and it's a winter expansion that's coming out this fall. So it's a little early, and this does mean that some of my plans are going to go into crunch mode, but let's first get started with the September release, which should be coming on September 12th. And first of all, we have an agency event called Warzone Extraction, which will pit us against drifter forces, and the objective will be to extract some valuable loot. So that is pretty interesting, of course, and is tied to the launch of the Valkyrie expansion, which will allow us to play Valkyrie on the PC without a VR headset. So that is something that I'm also looking forward to, and it's definitely nice to see this tie-in between EVE Online and EVE Valkyrie. Let's hope that it's a cool agency event, and then after that it gets us up and running for EVE Valkyrie, which I'll definitely give a good try. There are also some improvements to the new player experience that should be coming, and of course some new visual effects as well, with debris visualization. Comes out of left field a little bit, but I think that basically this is some of the debris that you will find in sites, especially relic sites, mission sites. Some of those things should get a nice upgrade, and of course the improved firing effects as well. Very nice on lasers, artilleries and autocannons. I think those are definitely the big winners here with the new improved firing effects. You can see some of that by scrolling down there as well. Now this one is definitely unexpected. I wonder where they got the idea from, but they are going to add a market ticker to the market window. So with the September release, industrialists and traders can rejoice and enjoy a new market ticker, which will scroll the prices of the most common and popular items on the markets of New Eden across the bottom of their market window. So that is something I'll have to see how exactly it works, what it takes into account, and then I'll probably replace my ticker on EVE Talk, which means that it's a little less manual work for me, but I definitely think that this might have been inspired by EVE Talk here. So very cool to see this coming, and normally this will make my job a little bit easier as well when it comes to my preparations for EVE Talk. So it's definitely welcome. I am curious to see which items that they have chosen for the market ticker, the in-game market ticker that's coming, and well, very cool here. I do look forward to seeing what that looks like in game. It'll definitely have more variety than my ticker, because I just took some items and I quickly checked them. It's full manual work for me, the way I do my own ticker for EVE Talk. Then of course we have some new player experience improvements as well, and the new moon mining skills will be coming out with the September release, so that you can get ready for what's coming with the winter expansion later in October. Next up, on October 6th, we have EVE Vegas, of course. I'm curious. We will see what kind of news we'll get out of EVE Vegas. Maybe there will be a lot of information on like the new PvE, which they're planning to bring with the expansion as well. And I think people that attend Vegas will get a Marshal. Let's hope that this time it's not going to be per account, so that some people don't end up with hundreds of Marshals and I make a ton of money. But I think CCP learned their lesson from last time. And then this is what we're here for, of course. October 24th, EVE Online Lifeblood, the new expansion, will be coming out. So I was expecting this late November, early December, something like that. And as some of you guys know, I'm planning to move to Iona, to Galente space for this expansion, so that definitely means that I'll have to do some quicker preparations. But what exactly is going to come here? Of course, we have the refineries. I am planning to make my own refinery for sure. I do a decent amount of mining, and Iona is actually a great system for mining, so I do think I'm planning to go with a refinery myself. Now the moon mining itself, that only works in nullsec and lowsec at first, so there's really little need to plonk my my refinery close to a moon at this point, since I'm gonna deploy it in highsec. And something that I did not expect, the reactions, I've seen that posted by a dev on Reddit, will only be doable in I think it is nullsec, lowsec and wormhole space as it is now. So that is definitely a restriction, which makes me wonder if I should go for a large refinery, and I probably don't think so. So I'm probably going to go for just a medium refinery at first, and then depending on how things evolve, I might just go for a large citadel just to try and get a market going or something like that. But next up, resource wars. That should be more interesting. As pirate forces encroach on the borders of New Eden's sovereign nations, Capsuleers are being contracted to assist with resource gathering operations in high-sec, forming part of resource gathering expeditions as combat or mining pilots. Sounds pretty interesting. Capsuleers, both young and old, will be able to take part in collaborative gameplay with other Capsuleers to assist their chosen empire with the release of EVE Online Lifeblood. So this is an aspect that was hinted at very strongly from EVE Vegas. I did get the vibe that they were going to go with some sort of collaborative PvE that would involve the empires very strongly, and that's the reason why Co-Incorporated is being called back to Galente space. So from the in-game, from the lore perspective for us personally, our time in Amar space was actually really nice. It was with the launch of the citadels and all the upwell structures that were coming out. So this was a great time to experiment, to explore other parts of space, and then of course with the new Empress that is much more inclined to cooperating with the other races and to actively trade. Has been a great time for Co-Incorporated in Dital, and we've been received very well in the Amar Empire, so we've made quite a bit of ISK there. But now it's actually time to go back to Galente space. Basically Co-Incorporated is being called back because of all of the resource wars, I guess, that are popping up. I do wonder how CCP is going to handle some sort of scarcity. I think that that's a mechanic that they could use in this sandbox just to keep things a bit more under control from the market perspective. And so maybe if pirate forces do really start to maybe go after miners and maybe actually start to deplete belts, force people into being a bit more active to actually get as much out of a system as what they're getting at the moment, could actually be pretty damn cool, so that inactive systems will actually see their resource base reduced. But I'm not sure if that's going to be part of this mechanic, of course. So I'm eagerly awaiting any information on the resource wars for sure. Then we have the pirate forward operating bases with increased conflict over dwindling resources across New Eden. This has caused the Choristas and Blood Raiders to expand their influence and industrial capabilities, staging daring raids in high security space, which lies under the sovereignty of the Empire. So these new pirate let's go like this. New pirate forward operating bases have been spotted across New Eden, creating new opportunities for groups of like-minded Capsuleers to band together and work towards driving out the threat. So here, this is the mechanic that I was talking about. Maybe the pirates will actually force some scarcity in the game if you leave them unattended. So sounds interesting. Alpha ship balance pass. At first I was actually watching the stream of CCP Guard and CCP Rise, and there, you know, they were saying, yeah, Rise is part of the new balance team, and they're gonna look at some ships that have been left behind for quite a while. But it looks like it's actually first gonna be an alpha ship balance pass before any of the let's say older player base ships that the older player base has their eye on, that need some urgent fixing because they've completely gone out of the meta, such as the assault frigates. But we'll see how all of that evolves. Of course, it's at least good news, I think, that there is now a dedicated balance team in the works. And then improvements to the agency. With the arrival of EVE Online Lifeblood, many user experience improvements will be made to the agency interface. Okay, so let's hope that we no longer get stuck on the timers there from time to time, but including the ability to find gameplay sessions with like-minded pilots so that Capsuleers can collaborate on exploration, mining, combat and other aspects of life in space together. This is something that personally I always saw as a potential for the agency. It is to keep that as something that is basically constantly available in the game, but that you, as for instance a miner, you can focus on getting quests that involve mining, or if you're a mission runner, you can focus on quests that involve mission running. If you're a PvPer, maybe you should get some sort of PvP quest there as well, and if then they can use this as a way to maybe set up fights, right, duels, have that be part of the PvP tree, but also more collaborative ways for miners, industrialists and other players to find their way to working together. This can only be a positive for the game, although some people are seeing this as a sort of a looking for a group mechanic that is creeping into EVE Online. It's not entirely sandboxy, but let's be honest, this is something that bigger alliances basically have worked out of the game, and so making this available for newer players in game may actually be a positive. Then the mining ledger, of course, is going to be a part of basically the moon mining, which will allow you to see exactly who mined what from your bells. And then the launch of the Marshal as well, which looks pretty damn awesome. So overall, this expansion, it's coming earlier than expected. It's also very light on detail at this point, so it's only the announcement. And for me personally, the biggest questions will be the resource wars, the pirate forward operating base, and then the changes to the agency here. Will this make for some compelling new PvE content that will actually last a decent amount of time, and that will be fun to do? So that is what I'm mostly looking forward to with EVE Online Lifeblood. Now moving on to some plans, I've said it earlier, this does mean that Co Incorporated is going to move back to Galente Space, to Iona to be precise. If it's no secret that we already have like a base of operations there in one of the stations, and so we're gonna go back there. Then at first the plan is to set up a medium refinery there as well, which will hopefully be with the Tech 2 rig from the Citadel at the moment. So normally, if everything goes as CCP has announced so far, they will basically make it so that you can, either the rigs will be taken out of your Citadels if they're refinery rigs, or you'll have the option to do so without destroying them. And that's what I'm planning to do. On the day that Lifeblood launches, I am going to take out the rigs, save them for the new refinery, and then I am going to start the countdown timer and take my 3 structures down in detail. So this is one of your warnings. I'll give many more, I think, before I actually do this. And then there's normally a 1-week timer where after which the structures will be unanchored. Why am I not selling them? Because I have further plans after checking out the new PvE content and stuff like that. These 3 actually form a very nice basis if I ever want to go back into wormhole space. So I'm actually going to store them locally. I'm going to put them in a station in Esezama, and then I have them ready. If I ever want to do an adventure in wormhole space again, then I'll have a Citadel and I'll have a couple of Raitarus ready so that I can actually just dive into one, put them into a transport ship, deploy them, and get started in the wormhole if I find them. And the rig, the Tech 2 rig that was actually donated by a viewer, will be saved that way, will be used for the refinery, and from there we'll see what is Lifeblood like. Do I want to go for that large structure, which thanks to a massive donation is definitely within reach now? Which one, all of that will then be decided upon as we go along after the launch of Lifeblood. But this is definitely your big warning here. On the 24th of October I am going to take down the 3 structures in detail, and I'm moving our operations into Iona. In fact, I'm already working hard on doing that, and that means that we've got a couple of pretty damn busy months now with Valkyrie, with well, all the updates that will be coming there, and then already in October we'll actually have this expansion come as well. So I look forward to all of that, and yeah. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on EVE Online Lifeblood. For now, thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you all next time.